Hello and welcome to the HCS Orlando Major.
Send in formal. 49. Formal might be the man to do it for Optic. Formal and Trippy. And the wait is over. Your champions of the Halo Championship Series Orlando Major are Optic Gaming.
How's it going, guys? Welcome to another video. The video you just watched, the intro to this video, is the intro to the team formula video that I made for them at HCS Orlando a couple of weeks ago. And so the video was mainly filmed by me. There's a portion towards the beginning of the video which the owner of the team filmed these player interviews. But if you want to go check out the video, it's my first video ever in esports. And I think for the most part, for my first time, especially with what I had to work with in just a day of shooting in a really dark area and not having any in-game footage, I thought it came out pretty good. So if you're interested, and it's like an 11-minute video, I would really appreciate if you go click the link in the description and check out the video and leave a comment that you came from here. But that's what this video is gonna be about. I had the opportunity that I've been looking for a long time, and I was really happy that I was able to shoot HCS Orlando. And so if you don't know what that is, I'm gonna explain a little bit in this video, but if you follow me on Instagram at the John Fernandez, you saw on my story that a couple of weeks ago I was in Orlando. I've posted on my story, and I also made a reel kind of recapping some of the photos I made. And so HCS, for those of you who don't know, is the pro circuit for Halo, the video game. It's an esport. And so a big passion of mine, pretty much my whole life, has been video games, and a big passion in sort of the past like 5-6 years has been esports. And you know, obviously I'm not good enough to compete as like an esports professional, but I watch a lot of esports content, I consume a lot of esports content, and I watch, you know, live esports events. And I've always wanted to eventually make my way to work in esports. And obviously I would do that on the creative side of things with photo and video. And I always saw myself that the way I would kind of get my foot in the door at the beginning is shooting events and shooting pro events. And Halo is the dream for me. I have been playing Halo since I was like 5 years old, since Halo Combat Evolved. And I've been playing Halo ever since. And so Halo is definitely my favorite esports to watch, definitely my favorite, you know, game to play. And I finally found an opportunity to shoot for a Halo event and for a Halo team. And so in this video, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk about how I got the opportunity, what I learned at the event, and then what I'm doing now to continue to get more opportunity. Because at the end of this video, I will, you know, tell you something, but let's just say event number 1 went good enough where event number 2 is gonna be coming soon, and I'm gonna be shooting very soon. And so stick around for the rest of the video. There's gonna be chapters down below as well. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and enjoy. So let's talk about how I got the opportunity to shoot at this event. So first of all, so I live in New York now, but some of you probably know I'm from Miami. So when the roadmap came for the HCS season, that there's gonna be an event in Orlando, all of my buddies in Miami and I said, we're gonna go to Orlando and we're gonna go watch this event. We're gonna have a great time. So bought my tickets when they were available, my friends, we got our hotels, we got our flights, all that stuff. Is gonna be like this great reunion with my friends in Miami. But then sort of got me thinking like, wow, I would really just want to start shooting esports. And so, you know, I sent out a tweet. This is how I got the gig. I sent out a tweet saying, hey, I've never shot esports before, but if anybody is looking for a photographer, all I need is a media pass. I'm already going to the event. I'm already booked. I'm willing to pretty much do this for free. If anybody knows any team who needs one, let them know, and so we can get in touch. And I tweeted that, and thankfully I'm a little involved in a few communities in the Halo world, in the HCS world. And so several friends from online, you know, DM'd people here and there, and I got a gig. So the big deal was for me to get this, which It's probably hard for you to see, but it is the red band that says media. And this was the golden ticket for me at the event, because without that, I wouldn't have been able to bring like my camera bag with all my camera gear. And so the team that got me that pass that I shot for on Friday was an open bracket team, pretty much like an amateur team called Team Formula. Huge shout out to Aaron and all those guys. I'm gonna have them all linked in the description down below. So pretty much we got in touch and he got me the media pass, and the goal was we're gonna film video. He wanted me to mainly focus on like making a dope video. So that's what I did, but then I also shot photos of them. And it was a great experience. They unfortunately didn't make it to Saturday, so esports events usually a several day event, and they were in the open bracket. They lost, and so Saturday, Sunday, I was free to kind of shoot whatever else I wanted at the event. And so got really good photos of them, made this video, and shot the open bracket, and then I had Saturday and Sunday to just free roam. That's how I got the gig. Literally did it for free. They got me the media pass, and that's all I needed. And this is one of those situations where, in my opinion, especially in industries such as esports, where they're still like kind of really small and still growing industries, working for free is your best friend when you're trying to enter an industry. You're gonna have a couple of gigs that you have to work for free, work for cheap, and then you just build yourself up, build your name, build your portfolio, and then you can start charging what you would normally charge. Right now I'm not gonna charge I'm not gonna charge esports teams or esports orgs the same thing I charge for stuff I would do here in New York, like freelance work or camera operator work or anything like that, because it's just different. It's a new industry. I'm never, I don't have a name in the industry. I don't have that credibility like I would here in New York for more commercial stuff. So, I had to take the hit, work for free, but in the end, it's gonna be worth it. So I wanna talk on what I learned shooting my first esports event. So just straight off the back, I am actually really proud of a lot of the work I got, not just on the video side of things, but also on the photo side of things, which a lot of you know is, I really am a photographer first, and I was really happy with a lot of the photos I got. I got posted by several people. I'll probably put them on the screen, but Hitch a Ride from Optic Gaming, which is huge because I've been watching Hitch for like years and years and years, and it was cool to be posted on his Instagram from a photo I took. Snakebite, who is like my favorite streamer, favorite like person in esports by far. Been watching his stream now for several years. His profile picture is a photo I took, which is really cool. And several other people, a lot of the other AMs, they all post me on their Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that, and I got a lot of love. Even other photographers, Tyler from Sentinels, who I really appreciated talking to, he posted me on his Twitter and gave me huge love on the photo that I took of him. So I got a lot of love on my photos, really good ego boost, really got tipped a lot, but it's just good, sort of to get that love back from the photos you're taking, especially for my first time shooting an esports event, just sort of solidify that, okay, I'm doing things right, I'm going in the right direction, I'm not just like here doing nothing, right? So overall, the experience was fantastic, but what did I actually learn? And, what could I tell you if you're watching this video as someone who, you're about to shoot your first esports event, or you want to get better at shooting esports, and this type of stuff is gonna apply to a lot of other sort of event photography type stuff. The first thing I learned, obviously, fast lenses are really, really important. I shot majority of the photos and even a lot of the video on my Samyang 85mm 1.4, which I've talked about that lens a lot. I love that lens. Fast lenses are gonna be your best friend. 2.8 at times felt slow. Right now I'm shooting on my 15 or 35 2.8. And there was times I had it on the camera and I was like, damn, like this is not like letting enough light in. It was really dark in the open bracket where I was shooting. So I even felt like a 70 to 200 at times probably would have been too dark, unless I was like shooting the main stage where there's actually like a lot of lights, right? That's when like the photos look really, really good. But for the most part, definitely just, if you don't have fast lenses and you don't have any like 2.8s or anything below that, 1.4s, 1.8s, anything like that, even like F1s, if you have F2s, that would be great. If you don't, rent them. So the second thing I learned, and it was actually a piece of advice another videographer gave me that I asked him while I was there, that I connected with. I'm gonna have his Twitter on the screen right now, Lens. He gave me advice. I asked him like, what's one piece of advice for like a noob doing this? And he told me always keep rolling. You never know when like the team's gonna talk trash. You never know when someone's gonna do something or yell or anything like that. So he said just always keep the camera rolling because you don't wanna be missing those moments. And it's funny because he said that, and after, literally like the match I like filmed after that, there was a moment that I missed because I wasn't rolling. And so, you know, it is hard because you need a SD card space or you need the batteries and all of that. But if you just want to be rolling as much as possible, especially when like a match is happening, because you never know when someone's gonna get hyped. You never know when a crazy play is gonna happen. You never know when a moment's gonna happen that if you're not rolling and you miss it, you're gonna regret it so much. So always keep rolling. Definitely a big piece of advice. And then sort of to go along with that is you always want to anticipate as much as possible. This is when it's really worth like knowing the esport you're shooting. I, you know, follow Halo Esports. I play ranked. I play in tournaments here and there. Like, so I have a really good grasp of what's happening. So you always want to be looking at the match and sort of see, is the game gonna end soon? Is a big flag cap gonna happen soon? Is a big play going to happen soon? Is it like a pivotal point of the match? Because usually when those type of things happen, one of the players is going to react, whether negatively or positively. You always want to capture the winning moments and you always want to capture the losing moments. So being able to anticipate those moments so you can, you know, just have your frame, your exposure, your camera on, recording, all of that, really, really important. And I think the next 2 points are definitely the most important things I learned. The first one is going to be more towards the way you shoot. And I think the most important thing I learned in terms of shooting is you want to find the little more unique moments happening at these events. I don't know if this comes from me being a street photographer, but I feel like I have a good eye or a good knack of finding those little moments and kind of making an image out of like these tiny, tiny little moments and capturing them. But there's, you know, a lot going on at these events. There's fans, there's players, there's interactions, there's casters, there's booths. There's a lot going on, and being able to sort of capture those moments that other people may necessarily not even be looking at is a huge advantage. Some of my favorite photos at the event I'll put up on the screen. There is one of a Sentinels player, Royal 2. Royal 2 was with the fan taking a photo right after they had got eliminated from the tournament. And that's, you know, one of those things that it's like such a little moment, but it's so cool that like, you know, World 2 was doing this after just losing this event. And no one knows that that photo is that, but I do, and I appreciate it. And if anybody asks, I would tell them that. But it is just really cool. There's other moments I really liked. I captured, there was a player from Cloud9 Penguin. His whole family was in the crowd, and I captured several moments where I was just following his dad. His dad was sort of pacing around different like parts of like the like spectator area. And I was able to capture these really awesome images that then Zane Penguin, the player, responded like, wait, why are these so dope on Twitter? And I know he probably saved them and showed it to his dad and showed it to his family. I know they probably meant a lot to them, which those, you know, that's like the biggest, that's very fulfilling to me, that I'm sure his parents are looking at these photos like, wow, like this is like me in this moment cheering on my son. And you know, any other person probably wouldn't shoot that. But since I was looking for those unique moments, I think it just adds a lot of strength personally to the portfolio that, you know, these photos came out really, really good, and they also look really, really unique. And other photographers may have missed that because they weren't looking for those like really unique moments. And so I have several examples of that, to be honest. One of my favorite photos from the event, I forgot who took it. I think it's this guy, David Sandman is his name on Twitter. I'll put it on the screen, but he took a photo of Sentinels of Lethal and his girlfriend Yvonne behind him carrying a big like face of like Lethal. And it's like, that's her profile picture now. And I think it's like one of the best photos, probably my favorite photo that came from the event, because that is one of those little moments that if you're not looking for, everybody's gonna miss. But he was able to capture it and made it look really, really good. And I know she appreciates that photo a ton probably, and he was able to capture it. So definitely in terms of like your portfolio and kind of making a good portfolio that people are gonna look at and want to hire you again, look for those unique moments. And then my next point, it also has to do with uniqueness, and this is probably the second most important thing I learned. Obviously, depending on who you're shooting for, you may have sort of a creative direction you have to go in, but try to keep your edits unique. You know, even before shooting this event, looking at a lot of the photos coming out of, you know, esports events, and not just esports events, but I see this in a lot of other, you know, sports as well, is sometimes edits are just so boring and they don't stand out. And I think this especially applies to if you're shooting for a team and let's say their colors are blue, you should color grade, you know, and like edit your photos to sort of fit in with the brand of the team you're shooting. Same thing if they're green, edit them green. I have samples of this. Like when I was shooting Sentinels players, I kind of kept it very like black and red and like kind of monochrome a little bit. If I shot like Optic Gaming stuff, it's a little easier too because there's lights on stage that are green and whatever. But I'm definitely like leaning towards different colors depending on the team that I was shooting. So be unique with your edits, follow like sort of those brand guidelines. But then the second thing is, you know, be even more unique than that. So the photo that Hitch a Ride posted that I took of him, I'll show you the before and after of the photo, but I cropped in a ton on an already super noisy image because, you know, I was shooting at pretty high ISO and this is only 20 megapixels. I cropped in a ton and then I added, after color grading, kind of making it this like kind of cool, unique film look. I then added noise on top of that and grain because I sort of wanted to really lean into that. And it might not be like the crispiest, smoothest image, but it has a personality that me also sort of seeing Hitch's personality online, I've had a feeling that he was gonna appreciate like this image because of the moment of him like cheering on Optic, but then also the way the image looks. I know he likes unique stuff like that, so I edited it that way and it turned out well. And it's one of my favorite photos I took at the event. So, you know, always be looking for unique moments and those little moments throughout the event, not just the big picture, but the small interactions at events that are important. And then also make sure you're unique in your editing style. Don't be afraid to kind of do things differently than, you know, just kind of keeping like a basic clean image. Kind of don't be afraid to color grade. Don't be afraid to add some grain or add some effects, some mask, whatever it is. So you can really stand out, because I think when I look at my portfolio, I'm really happy with the sort of different grades that I have, and I'm really happy with sort of the uniqueness of a lot of the different images, and they're not just basic event photos. Another quick tip that I learned is if you can, have your laptop with you and try to edit photos as quick as possible the night of. Sort of scroll through your Lightroom or whatever program you're using and just select like 10 images or like, I wanna edit this right now, and edit them as quick as you can and post them on Twitter. Because people after those events are gonna be on Twitter looking at feeds, looking at their feed, looking at things from that event. And so if you're like one of the first ones posting, which I was one of the first ones posting each night at like, you know, 11 p.m. I was posting midnight and they were still getting a ton of engagement. It actually worked really well for me. I would never wait until the end of an event to post. Even the team I was shooting for, they posted the day of the event and it did really well. And even after that, I was getting a ton of follows. And I met a lot of those people who were following me because they want to meet me, right? And so sort of for a networking and like social media perspective, you want to be editing and posting as fast as possible. And you can go back and edit those images again later, but try to get like a really good base edit and post those if you can as fast as possible. So that is everything I learned, but you know, where do I go from here? That's what I'm gonna talk about now, is how can you sort of take your first shoot and turn it into a second shoot and hopefully a third shoot. And so I'm really happy to announce that in pretty much a week, I'm gonna be packing to go to Seattle for HCS Worlds. I'm gonna be shooting for Native Gaming, which is the old Kansas City Pioneers roster. So really, really solid pro, you know, roster with some really good players who have been killing it since Halo 5. So how did I get the gig, the second gig? And this is a paid gig. I'm still not making the same rate that I would here in New York, by no means, but at least I'm having pretty much my travel covered and making some extra cash on top of that. And so pretty much the second I got back from Orlando, I edited all my pictures, I picked the best ones, I got my portfolio updated, which I'm gonna put the link to who does my website. I'm gonna put the link to the website as well. It's just a basic portfolio website, but I absolutely love the way it looks. I updated my portfolio as quick as possible. I added an esports section with all the photos from that event. On Twitter, I made sure my pinned tweet was a sort of a photo dump I did of the event. And I literally, once I got everything organized in like 2 days, I started DMing some of these teams that were going, and I started with sort of the teams or the orgs that were a little less known. There's teams from Europe, Australia are going, and like from around the world. So I started hitting those guys up first because I figured the smaller orgs maybe aren't booked for Worlds that's like a month later. And I just built my way up and I started hitting them up. I hit up several other people. I don't want to name them by names. If you're watching this video and you're one of those people who helped me, thank you. I appreciate you a ton. You know who you are. But I DM'd a lot of people in the community, people who work for HCS, people who work for teams, other photographers that I met, other videographers that I met, other org owners, creative directors of teams, literally everybody. I was hustling for pretty much like a week and a half, constantly DMing, emailing. I was going onto like the websites of these orgs and like sending my application and my portfolio and my Twitter there. And pretty much what I was telling everybody was the same thing. Like, this Orlando was my first event. I was completely honest with them, didn't oversell myself. Orlando was my first event. Here's what I shot. These people posted me, so that means people liked my work. I want to shoot for you at a pretty low rate. I still want to get paid and cover my travel expenses is what I told them, and have some cash left over, but I'm not going to be, you know, charging my normal day rate for 3 days, which would be a lot of money, you know, shooting for 3 days straight in Seattle. And so I pretty much sent almost the same message to everybody. And at first, you know, it wasn't looking really good. And really up until like a few days ago, a week ago, I thought I was not going to Seattle, but eventually Native Gaming hit me up and the GM hit me up and talked with the owner and blah, blah, blah. We negotiated a rate and I am booked. And so, you know, sort of what I learned in the process is a lot of these teams were already booked. That's what a lot of them were telling me. And I'm sure they're booked for months and months in advance. So, and then moving on from Seattle being my second event, and not only is it my second event, but it's also like the World Championship. So it's a big deal. There's gonna be a lot of eyes on it, and being able to say that I shot at HCS Worlds is gonna be, you know, good for my portfolio. Moving on from this, the next time I sort of hustle and email people and try to get booked for another esports event, I'm gonna just, again, continue to increase my rate until I get it to a point where it matches my current rate and I feel comfortable with it. But this is just one of those classic scenarios of you sometimes have to start working for free or start working for cheap. Sort of, you know, enter an industry with the talent and skill that you have, but not necessarily charging what you necessarily should be making, just to kind of make the network, get, you know, the credibility, get the work, get the portfolio going, and you'll be able to build from there, which is, I'm telling you this because that's what I'm going to be doing now. Yeah, that's pretty much my recap of HCS Orlando. Overall, I had a fantastic time. Overall, I met a ton of cool people, absolutely love the Halo community, and I hope to continue shooting for esports events, so hopefully maybe get full time into esports, we shall see. But yeah, so I'm just pretty much making this video to encourage you guys that if you want to shoot an esports event, start from the bottom, work for free, and build your way up. And, you know, hopefully one day I can be shooting for some of the bigger orgs. We shall see. But I appreciate you watching this video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Follow me at the John Fernandez, especially if you want to see my stories from Seattle. I'm excited to do street photography while I'm there as well for a couple of days. So yeah, that's it. Peace out, guys. Have a great day.